Hello, Nina.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me, Nina? Can you hear me, Nina? No? I just mentioned, Jan, that on the Can you hear me, Nina?
Yes, very clearly.
I just mentioned, Jan, that on the topic that Tam brought up, well, I found the detail, but thanks to something that Nina had translated before from the Sangiti Sutta about the three Kosalani, the Aya Kosala, the Apaya Kosala, and the Upaya Kosala. The first refers to progress in what is proficient, and this actually refers to the non-arising of akusala, the arising of kusala, so the development of kusala, and it emphasizes panya as knowing what is right and being responsible for the development of what is kosala. And the second one is the opposite. And as to the progress, panya is emphasized, and just what we were discussing, when there's wrong view, it's the wrong path. And so anyway, it's just referring to the development of panya and the development of what is kusala and the decline of what is akusala, in brief.
Are we talking about kosala?
We're talking about kosala. We're talking about aya kosala, the increase in what is wholesome, and apaya kosala, the decrease in what is akusala, and the upaya kosala, which is the means.
Kosala is about the increase in kusala and the decrease in akusala, and apaya kosala is about the decrease in kusala and increase in akusala.
So
is the means, in other words, the development of means, the development of understanding.
So kosala is not right understanding, or is it? Or it is wholesomeness?
According to what Nina translated, I think kosala is a reference to panya.
But actually, before there can be panya, there has to be kusala, because panya cannot arise with kusala. But there are so many realities which is kusala. That's why kosala can be another word for kusala. I don't know Pali. It's possible. Because for just Pali, there are so many meanings. Yes. It cannot be just of one meaning only.
I think sometimes it's translated as what is skillful, or so what is kusala is what is skillful. So it's an aspect, the skillfulness of kusala. So it's referring to the increase in skillfulness and decrease in unskillfulness. Actually, it is kusala, and decrease in akusala.
And when we talk about skillful, it depends again according to what arises with it. So we can talk about this word in one meaning, one way, or another meaning as well.
Yes, I remember, I think in the Atasalani, the same word is sometimes used in a conventional sense too, like conventional skill, but here it's referring to kusala.
It shows that the truth is so very complex. We have to understand clear a little bit of one reality at a time. So just being wise, can it be akusala? See, why not? Wise in akusala. So we have to understand the true meaning of kosala too. When it arises with wholesomeness, it has to be wholesome.
Like the bank robber is very skillful, but with akusala citas.
Mm-hmm.
Wise in akusala means by understanding akusala.
Crafty.
Okay, as you were saying, I thought it meant by understanding akusala as just
Smart, crafty,
anatta.
skillful,
Okay.
very, so that's why kosala can mean skillful. So it can be
Wise.
very skillful.
Wise like crafty, yeah, like
So conventional
Yeah,
meaning of wise or crafty or
okay.
skill.
For example, the scientist, see, medical subject, see. So it's clear now. When there is the understanding of the meaning of reality, so come to have more truthfulness to the truth, because it's not easy at all. For example, is it truthful enough to seeing right now? See, just know that it's there and it's not self, and it's that which experience, visible object, but the truth of it, see, to be truthful that it is there by conditions, arising and falling away instantly, the absolute truth. And that can be realized through firm confidence. That's why firm confidence on what? Of what? Of seeing as it is, as whatever is now. And that's the meaning of parami, to be truthful. Is that truthful enough to this moment? Not anyone, as long as it's not directly beginning to be acquainted to the characteristic which is not self. It now sees, but it, what is it? What is it? A reality, arising and falling away instantly, truthful to that truth.
Gabby, I just saw that you had joined. Would you like to just say anything to Ajahn, because it's an opportunity to speak live if you would like to, but if you prefer not to, that's fine. We can't hear you.
No. Yes. Good afternoon to everyone and good morning. I wish you all a good journey and come back in good health. I thank you, Ajahn. That's all.
Very glad that you can join these discussions almost every day, Gabby, and that you're listening and appreciating them so much. So I know Ajahn will be glad to see you now.
Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
No, thank you. I listen. And that is a great gift already. They might come, I might think, oh, this could be a question. And then I realized that it's more or less out of curiosity and not leading to more understanding. And when I listen more, there comes the opportunity that I understand a little bit more. Yes, little by little. And
I think the Buddha encouraged listening to the talks, and he also encouraged asking questions.
yes,
Because it helps to clarify one's thinking.
Okay, I tried to jot it down because I don't know really how to use this computer, and yeah, condition, Ajahn, it's condition.
Before we talk about what is there now, we usually think about many things to do. I'll do this, I'll do that. But when there's a moment of thinking or not forget about the moment now, it's time to talk about moment or this very moment. Otherwise, it's always forgotten. Thinking about other things. I will do that, I will do this. But what is there is already there. See, when we talk about this moment, it's already there now. No one had met it at all. Because it's there already. That's why what is the truth of whatever is there unknown when we have no thought about it at all in a day. That's why we come and talk about the absolute truth of a moment, from moment to moment in life. Because life exists in a moment. If there's no moment at all of experiencing another thing, that's the end of life or no life at all. So what is life is the moment of experiencing an object. No matter what we know, there is the understanding of that object or not, but it's there. For example, right now, visible object is there. No matter who knows it at all, what is it in truth? Can anyone make it arise? Can anyone make it up? Because it's already there by conditions. That's why learning to understand the truth without the reality which arises to experience an object, can there be anything appearing? No. Not at all. But when there's also many things in life, from moment to moment, no understanding of the truth of it has to arise. And in truth, as soon as it has arisen, it falls away instantly. Learn to be truthful to the truth, to know that it's so true. Who can stop the arising and falling away of that which now just arising and falling away from moment to moment. Learn to understand the moment, one characteristic of a reality at a time in that moment, to really understand when it's there and when it's gone, never to return at all. When it's true, it can be known deeper and deeper, because now it arises and falls away. Otherwise, there's no idea about the picture which is seen as this or that in front of us. But in truth, what is there is only that which is experienced by a reality which arises and see it and then fall away. And at the moment, not only seeing, at the conditioned reality, thinking about it, like it, dislike it, and so on. Whatever in life never known before can be known from hearing about the truth of it and have confidence, truthful to the truth. Is there anyone at moment of birth? No one. At moment of death? No one. At moment of seeing? No one. And how come to have such and such happenings in life to be forgotten? So it's dream life, because in truth, it's not there at all. Just to consider whether it's true or not. And when it's true, be truthful to the truth so that the truth can be realized as we have known or as we have learned right now. Seeing is not hearing. It's so simple, but it's not yet realized. So no confidence of seeing enough or hearing enough, because when it's not there, it means that it's not there. The confidence is firmer about the truth of whatever arises falls away instantly. Is it true? In order to have confidence of the truth, to be able to develop understanding, to let go ignorance and attachments, nobody can stop the idea of something there as a box or a book. But in truth, find out the truth, understand the truth. It's seen, otherwise that cannot be the shape of box or book. But it's seen, just a dot is seen, like the movies. See, a dot, a dot, a dot. Only a dot cannot be Kun Sarah, cannot be me, cannot be Kun Jonathan, Kun Alberto, Kun Hang at all. But many dots, really. But the continuation or the succession of that which is seen is so very quickly that it conditions the shape or mark of what is seen to be known as something in mind. No need to say out, but it's there, the idea of something from nimitta, the shape and the form or the sign of that reality. Just live in the world of thinking and experiencing what is there from day to day, from moment of life on to this moment and on to the last moment in this life. No me, no one, no thing. Forgotten, never thought about it, impossible. Just like today, can you think of the events from moment to moment after you wake up? Woke up yesterday, what were there? Not now. Where were they? They will arise again. So they are real. Each one is a reality, that's all. Beginning to understand just the meaning of a reality. It means it's real. It cannot be anything as we think. It cannot be anyone, and it cannot belong to anyone at all. Because in truth, it's not always there. It's just very, very short, arises and falls away. And when it's so true, it can be realized. So in truth, what are there in a day?
A lot of ignorance, a lot of ignorance.
Mm-hmm. There must be experiencing through the eye, seeing right now, a day, in a day, right? And then hearing, sometimes smelling, sometimes tasting and touching and dream about that which has been experienced and gone unknowingly, thinking that it's there, like now, the idea of I'm sitting, right? Or at moment of standing, I'm standing. Even it's not said, I am sitting. But is there anything I
No.
find out? See, seeing, it cannot be I, and it's not sitting. Hearing is not I, and hearing is not sitting. See? So in truth, it's only thinking of a hardness through one of the 5 doorways. And then mind door, keep it in mind as it's still there, my arm, my leg. But in truth, it's only thinking moment of that which is not there. Be truthful to the truth, thinking about that which is not there. Is it true? That's all. Firm confidence of the truth will let go the idea of self and the idea of things, because at moment of touching, it's hard. At moment of seeing, it's visible object. At moment of smelling, it a smell, no thing. Just one moment in lifetime. So how can it be taken for a thing if there's no idea of what is seen so very rapidly? What is left is only the shape and form and sign of something to be known that is different from the other. The cup is different from the book. That's all. But it's seen. What is seen is the same, but not the same unit or the same moment at all. Gone all the time. So we live in the dream world or dream life. And what is tomorrow? Is there tomorrow? Or
No.
only the idea?
It's an idea.
See, to be truthful to the truth will lead to realize the truth because it's there. Nobody can let go the idea of I am sitting until understanding what is there just in a moment. It can let go the idea of I or sitting. At moment of thinking, is there seeing? See, just a moment, from moment to moment, and then gone. That's why that's the absolute meaning of Dhamma or reality. Just live to understand the truth, to have firm confidence of the truth, and it let go ignorance and attachment with wrong understanding of I or thing. Breaking all the time from moment to moment. But when it's not realized, what can let go the idea of I now? Hearing, thinking, understanding, liking, or doubt. They are all real. That's why each word of the Buddha just point to the truth of what is there right then to be understand the truth. That nothing is permanent at all. That which arises by conditions falls away instantly. How can there be I? Thinking is thinking. And what conditions such thought? The experiencing at moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, conditioned idea all the time of something, but it's nothing, not something, because it's not always there. Just appear and disappears. But the idea of it's still there, my house, my friend, the moon, the sky, the sun, the tree, all are there. But in truth, is it really there now? When it's not seen, heard, touched, thought. And this is life, just firm confidence of the truth will lead to more letting go, wrong understanding. At moment of touching, there can be conditions to not forget the truth. It's there to be known. Only when it's touched, when it appears. When it's not, how can the truth be found? Because it's gone, even hardness. What is left is only the idea of hardness, but not the reality of hardness. Because it's not there, but the idea keep on thinking that something hard is still there. And what is that reality? Which marks and remembers what is experienced, not the chief of experience, which we use the term citta, the reality which arises and just to experience the object clearly. That's why we know whether it's just pale or strong or so vivid or it's so vague or something like that. Even the taste, different tastes are tested. What word we use for such moment, it's gone. How spicy or hot it is, no word to explain because not enough word to explain the moment of experiencing. Some cake or food is so very soft, but when it's not touched, no matter you tell the other it's so soft, how can they know the softness of that object until it's touched? No word, because it's so clear at moment of touching. That's why the reality which experiences clearly the characteristic of the object is one reality. It cannot think about it. It cannot like, it cannot hate, but it experiences the object clearly. One reality only. And that word is the characteristic of a reality, citta. So there is cittanupassana satipatthana. See, if there's no understanding clearly of the characteristic of now, arises and experiences, can it lead to the understanding the character of that which does not remember, does not like, but it performs a function of experiencing now what appears so clear to it. Even the object is not seen clearly, it knows it's not as clear. See, when we are old, we cannot see as we used to see when we were young. But that object is seen very clearly as it is, not as clear as before. And this is life. So life is not known at all without the enlightenment of the one who had developed great wisdom to realize the truth. And after his enlightenment, what did he say? Dhamma means reality. So very subtle. But it can be known. That's why now we begin to understand what is meant by reality. Reality is the experience from birth, no understanding of it at all. But now it's time to begin to consider the truth of what is there in life, seeing every day, hearing and thinking. So the teachings point to the truth of what is there to be known as it is, that it's not always there. and think only when it appears. But usually there's the idea that it's still there. I from birth up to now, and go on until death. No more. This personality, this person. And we use different words just to make it known. We mean this person or that person. That's why there are different names. But in truth, there are only different realities. So just live only in this life to be this person. And what this person is doing, understanding or no understanding at all, what's right and what's wrong. Are they permanent? Where are they after they have arisen and fallen away? See, never arise again. So how can it be something or someone? Is that true? And now it arises in false way without understanding clearly the difference between one to another. How can there be the moment of being, moment of understanding, seeing now as not hearing? And the gap in between to show the difference between the two, that they cannot arise together. That's why the process of experiencing what is seen can be known now when they're seeing and that which is seen. And at moment of hearing, there can be the understanding of hearing different from seeing. And the truth of these two can be realized gradually until it shows up just one reality at a time as nimitta, the sign of that reality, because just one moment cannot be realized at all by way of process of experiencing one by one, experiencing the same object through one doorway. All about now, right? Unknown before, and it can be known, like open up that which is hidden very deeply, and right understanding begin to touch it, to open the truth of this moment when there's more understanding, and let go, taking seeing for I see, hearing for I hear. So it can show up as it is a moment of experiencing different objects in life, any moment, short or long, depending on conditions. So death can be any moment, just like falling asleep. Even while we're talking, there can be sleep. Who knows? Someone fall asleep by conditions, not at will. So death is just like that. But before death, is there any understanding of the truth of no one there at all, no me? Death is the end of the reality which experiences an object, which we use the word vipaka, the results of deeds. That's why understanding the first moment in life by conditions, why people are born differently, even different color, the complexion, the shape and form of eyes and ears, so on. Elephant and ant were born, but different by conditions. So we are now talking about paticca-samuppada, but we don't use the term paticca-samuppada. Vijnana is the moment of birth. How come? Ignorance conditions sankhara, different idea, deeds, wholesome and unwholesome, and sankhara condition vijnana. So how come the birth of this life, the present life, is conditioned by the past, avijja and sankhara, and what is done in this life condition next life. So it's the link of past, present, and future, on and on and on. But we don't have to use the term paticca when there's no understanding of any truth, of any reality. It's just a word. But when we understand the meaning of the word as it represents realities to be known as different realities, citta, cetasika, rupa, and so on, different realities, the understanding can understand correctly. So when there is the moment of hearing the word paticca samuppada, no doubt, it's like now. The past condition the present, avijja and sankhara condition the vijnana, and vijnana condition nama and rupa to arise together by way of paccaya, different conditions. We learn to understand deeper and deeper, to let go the idea of self, of thing, to have confidence of the truth, parami. Otherwise, there are no conditions to have better and clearer understanding of the truth until it shows up as it is, as what Buddha said and what we are talking about, the truth. It arises for sure, it falls away for sure, but it's not known yet. When panya is not firm enough to let go, the clinging to the idea of self, deeply rooted, so deep, until never arise again, wrong understanding, because of experiencing the truth clear enough to realize the truth and understand the path, the way leading to have such understanding. It has to be from now. Without understanding now, how can it reach the moment of enlightenment, the truth? So understanding what is there now, that's all, the beginning of understanding the truth. Not enough.
No.
Better than none, see, or wrong understanding as before. And even understanding is a reality. It's gone. Seeing cannot understand the truth, but understanding is a reality, which is different from ignorance. It understands now. But there must be conditions for understanding to arise too. Not just out of the blue. That is understanding right now. Directly experience the truth. Impossible. It's the I, no matter what happened. So we just talk about what is there by different means to have more confidence of the truth. Otherwise, it's just a word. No one, no self. But what is there now? If it's not known clearly, the idea is there. I experiencing it. See, I'm experiencing it, but no I. So what? Many different realities which arise together, experiencing an object right now. Each one is different. Chitta cannot be any cetasika, and it cannot be rupa, and the rupa cannot be chitta. The truth, the absolute truth of what is there as it is, as not anything, only different realities, and never be the same. That which has arisen, never to arise again. Dream world, dream life. So we just talk about the truth. To consider whether it's true or not.
Tadawa, you've also been listening almost every day, but maybe haven't had a chance to ask any of your questions or raise any of your topics. Is there anything you would like to bring up or ask about?
Yes, I have one question. Suppose one has some kind of realization that there is no being, yeah? Is any kind of such realization must be preceded by knowing the difference between nama and rupa. In other words, if one doesn't understand what is nama and what is rupa, then he or she doesn't have any realization of realities. It's my question.
Exactly right. Because if there's no understanding of the realities which experience an object and the realities which don't experience an object, if there's no understanding of the distinction, for sure there will be the idea of something experienced, someone experiencing. So in order to let go of the idea of self, of something, there has to be the very firm and very clear understanding of seeing now, hearing now, feeling now, touching now, kindness now, different from those realities like what is visible, the sound, the hardness, those realities that don't experience anything. So that's why the first stage of insight is the very clear understanding of the distinction between nama and rupa, nama rupa paricheda jnana. And without this insight, there cannot be higher insights. And without the development of satipatthana, there cannot be this very clear understanding. So there has to be the understanding developed of different realities very well in order for it to develop on and be so clear, and later the clear understanding of the arising and falling away of those realities. And without that very firm understanding, there will always be an idea of someone and something. And so it has to begin now with the wise considering about different realities. As Ajahn said, it's now everything we talked about, even paticca samuppada, it's about now, about seeing now, hearing now, and attachment on account of what is seen, what is heard, and so on. So if someone says that they have understanding of no self, no being, but they don't know anything about the realities in life now, then it's not the true understanding of dhammas as anatta.
Okay, thank you. It's clear.
I'd just like to add a couple of words to that. Sometimes we we can say when there is understanding, of a reality, that reality is not a being. When it's a reality is seen as being a reality, then it is known that that reality is anicca, dukkha, and anatta. It is not a being. So that's one sense in which the expression no being or not a being can be used. But I think in the teaching, the realization of there is no being is the same as the realization that there are only conditioned dhammas, nothing else. There is nothing else other than conditioned dhammas. And that is what is meant by, or that is the same as saying there is no being. So obviously that realization can only arise after the understanding of different realities has been developed to quite a high degree. And there is the irresistible inference or conclusion that nothing exists other than the momentary existence of conditioned realities. And that is the sense in which I think in the teaching it refers to realization of no being. There is no being.
And to say that there is no being, one has to see nama as nama, arupa as rupa, and they are two different entities. Is it right?
Tadao, I think there are different stages. I mean, when what Sarah was describing and what John was describing, and used the word realization, I think you can say that refers to the level of understanding that's insight, or we can say katayana. But we know that there are different levels of understanding. Before katayana, there's kichayana. Before kichayana, there's sachayana. So each level understands at its own level the truth. So no beings at that level. But if you want to use the word, if you want referring to the level that is realization, then as Sarah said, it must be after the first stage of insight, nama rupa parishudhyana.
Okay, thank you. But I can see that developing nama rupa parishudhyana is not an easy thing at all.
It comes back to now, what about the understanding of seeing as nama, even if we don't call it seeing, even if we don't call it nama? And what about the understanding now of what is seen, no matter what it's called? Quite different from the experiencing of it. So beginning to understand that the seeing is not anyone that sees, just the reality which arises for a moment and experiences what is seen and then gone forever. And the hearing now quite different from what is heard, just a reality which arises, experiences the sound and then completely gone. So the understanding has to begin at this moment. It has to begin with the wise considering, the firm considering to condition the direct understanding of the seeing now, the hearing now, different from what is seen or heard.
I think I have fair amount of yoniso manasikara, but I would never be able to see the difference between Nama and Rupa. It's so hard.
So what about the Yoniso Manasikara now? Is seeing a reality quite different from what is seen now?
Yeah,
And what is the function of seeing now?
it's supposed to experience a visual object.
Right, it's the reality that sees the visual object. And the visual object, does it experience or know anything?
No,
So it's the beginning of understanding the distinction now between the seeing and the visual object, different realities arising by different causes, different conditions, and falling away instantly. So it's not a matter of thinking, oh, I've got to understand a higher level of the distinction, but the wise considering now of these realities and the distinction conditions a little more wise considering and more wise considering. So no doubt that what is touched is hardness, quite different from the experiencing or touching of it, for example. So the wise considering develops on and on. So no need to think about, oh, when will it be vipassana jnana, or when will it be full realization? Just let the wise considering and understanding develop naturally. Otherwise, it's I trying to interfere or speed it up or get a greater result. It can be contentment with the understanding there is at this very moment.
yeah, but it's a not easy thing.
Moments at the moment that you just mentioned, when there's wise considering about what seeing is, what its nature is, how it's so different from what is seen. At that moment of wise considering and understanding, there's no thought about, oh, it's not an easy thing, or this is so difficult. That's just thinking about what's easy and difficult, but can be understanding of thinking itself. It's a reality that experiences different from the story that is thought about. And it's not my thinking, whether it's thinking about it's not an easy thing or it's thinking about the visible object. It's just thinking and then gone instantly. It can also be understood. It's just Dhamma. Because it's not an easy thing. It's just a long story. But the thinking is real. The seeing is real.
What bothers me is that Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana is the first stage of development of wisdom. How come such a difficult thing is placed at the first stage of development of wisdom?
Because it shows, as Sukin mentioned, this is kata jnana. There has to be the satya jnana. There has to be the very firm considering and confidence about what the truth is before there can be the Hicca jnana, before there can be the development of satipatthana that directly understands the realities. And this has to be developed before there can be the kata jnana, the realization of the truths, the development of the vipassana jnanas. So it has to begin now with the careful and wise considering and firm understanding. So many people think that they can experience all the vipassana jnanas and, oh yes, everything's dangerous and fearful, and yes, they understand the impermanence, but actually they don't even understand what is seeing now and what is seen now. And like you said at the beginning, if there's no understanding of the distinction between namas and rupas now, no understanding by even considering what the realities are. There can never be the abandoning of the idea of a being or a self.
And on your comment about how come the first stage, when it's so advanced, well, it's not really the first stage, but it's the first stage that is given a name in terms of the development of the path. But obviously before that, as we know, there is intellectual understanding, which has to be firm enough until there can be direct understanding. And direct understanding then has to develop considerably until the first vipassana jnana is reached. Because the Dhamma is deep and difficult to understand, it obviously takes time. So we should not expect that the first stage, just because it's the first insight stage, we should not expect that it's easily obtained.
Another way to put it is there cannot be pati veda before there's pati pati, and there cannot be pati pati before there is pariyati understanding. But people would like to jump to the realizations and forget about the pariyati and the pati pati.
Yeah, I feel that it would take many lives before seeing the reality as nama and as rupas. So it's not an easy thing at all.
Depending on conditions and accumulations. No need to speculate about when or where or how long, because who knows?
Yeah, I feel that I'm far behind you guys, and I'm behind you guys by 3 or 4 rounds of samsara.
Well, I was just about to say you are not alone. So, but no need to think about anyone else.
And if cheetahs are comparing and thinking about me and the others.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, akusala is always vipalasa anyway.
Achan, back to you just mentioned about the characteristic of the cheetah is to know the objects clearly. So it's in comparison with another reality such as cetasika, or how is understand it correctly?
Experience the object as clear as citta.
No, cannot.
See, what is there? What experiences it? Many realities arising together, citta and cetasika. They have different characteristics, different qualities, different function. But what experiencing the object only, clearly? It does not like or dislike or doubt or anything, but it experiences clearly. Nothing can experience it as clear as that reality.
So even we don't know what it is. I think it's become the something. So cheetah already knows it.
For example, when you like something, there must be the object of attachment. An attachment experience that with attachment, not experiencing the object as clear as a reality, which is citta, the chief of experiencing, while the other mental factors experience the same object, but it's not as clear. It has its characteristic and its function different from that one. That's why now citta arises all the time. Who knows? at moment of attachment is known. I like it very much. But what about now seeing? Sees the object clearer than at moment of being attached to that object.
So it always knows the object clearly. Is a function of the chitta.
The chitta only.
Experiences
You can
the
think,
object very clearly, yes. So the seeing sees the object very clearly, it experiences it clearly, whereas the passa that arises with it contacts the object, the other cetasikas attend to it, focus on it, but seeing is the only reality that experiences it so clearly.
It's now. But it's hardly known because it's there from birth.
So when you say that we get older, so the chitta still experience the object clearly. It
Can you change the characteristic of chitta?
cannot.
Can you see the difference?
Yes.
Chitta, experience one by one, clearer.
Even if one gets older and the eye sense is weak, still the seeing experiences what is there clearly, no matter whether it's the old age eyesight or the baby's eyesight, no matter whether the eye sense is half blind, for example, but still the chitta experiences clearly just what is there.
Otherwise, how can it be known that it's not as clear as before?
Let's not forget that what eye consciousness experiences is just a single visible object. So in order for that box of tissues to appear with all its contrasts, there would have to be many, 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 many moments. And those moments of eye consciousness require eye base to arise. So if eye base isn't arising as frequently, then the overall picture would be less clear. So
It's amazing that chittas always work very hard.
And if it's a very faint sound in the background, it's the chitta, the hearing, which hears clearly just as it is. Faint, not loud sound, just exactly as it is, not the other cetasikas. So whatever it is, just experienced as it is.
If chitta cannot experience the object clearly, how can it know the difference between that which is so very similar, that it's not the same, but very close, very similar? Kunjadao, are you interested in Vipassana Jnana?
Yes, very much.
Very much. Is it this moment?
Yes.
This moment Vipassana Jnana?
No, I'm just interested in knowing realities as they are, which occur the six.
That's why we have to understand the difference between each level of Panya, right understanding.
Oh, my Panya is very weak.
Not your Panya, not anyone's Panya, but it's the understanding of the degree that it can understand. A little more, until it's so clear. Vipassana is clear comprehension of the object. For example, right now, there is touching. Hardness is there. Clear?
Yes.
Because chitta experiences it clearly that it's just that level of hardness. Touching the grass, the iron, and the shoes, different levels, different degrees, right? But it is only citta which experiences the characteristic of the object as it is. And citta cannot understand anything at all, whether it's that which is true or what, but it just experiences an object. And the object which is seen cannot be changed at all. No matter you see it just very pale or not, it's there as it is. Just put water on the ring, it changes the color little by little, little by little. What knows it? Citta experiences. Is that right? And that is not vipassana jnana. It's only intellectual understanding about the truth, because citta does not appear as it's the reality, which has no shape, no form, nothing in it, but no other reality as it the moment of experiencing an object right now, only the object and the experiencing of it. And that is the citta, which is the chief of experiencing that very object, not vipassana jnana at all. That's why the word jnana, cakkhu viññāna, vipassana jnana, no, but different degrees. Without understanding, citta experiences an object because it is cakkhu viññāna. Without cakkhu, that reality cannot arise, and there's no visible object appearing at all, no light or darkness at all appearing. And this is not vipassana jnana. It's only the intellectual understanding of the truth, which hasn't been thought about before. Is that right? About citta, the reality, not the cetasikas. It has its function, it has its characteristic to arise, to experience, and then fall away. Does it arise? Has it arisen now when it's there known? And it's gone unknowingly. Otherwise, they cannot be hearing or thinking. They cannot arise together. And this is not vipassana jnana. It has the intellectual understanding about they seeing now. No understanding of seeing while we're talking about it. But we learn to know what is the meaning of what is there so real now, which sees. So we talk about that which sees. The word seeing is a reality which arises and see and then gone. Is that true?
Yes,
Firm enough?
I know that. My
That's
reason,
right. When it's not firm enough, it cannot be the realization of the characteristic of that which is not other mental factor at all. Phassa, see, a reality. It experiences the same object of citta by way of contacting just that level of experiencing an object. It is not that which experiencing directly, clearly, the object as citta, right?
yes,
So this is intellectual understanding, not vipassana jnana at all.
no.
And at moment of experiencing the object, is there any kind of feeling?
No,
But Buddha realized the truth. What did he say? Learn to understand the truth of a moment. What are there? And what is known and what is not known yet, because it does not appear to be known. Only that which appears now can be known. So the truth of visible object can be known now. The truth of the seeing can be known now, but intellectually, because at this moment of talking about seeing. Seeing is there arising and falling away. Is that the moment of understand the actual seeing or just think about seeing? And this is the difference between vipassana jnana and other moment of understanding. And it's clear, vipassana is see or understanding or realizing the truth. When it's clear, it means that nothing is there together at all. When there are two things together, can there be the clear understanding of anyone? Not at all. But when there's only one there, it is seen or understood clearly, right? And that is the meaning of vipassana jnana, experience a reality only one at a time. Otherwise, it's not clear understanding of that object at all. Even touching now. But they're seeing together right now. Is it clear understanding of the hardness, only hardness as it is? Not at all. That's why learning to begin to understand the world that appear as not it is, until it becomes clearer a little bit from intellectual understanding, to understand that when the object is not the object directly, with understanding of the truth from how firm intellectual understanding is there, little by little. Because the understanding at level of intellectual understanding cannot compare to the moment when it is clear understanding of the object, when it's directly experienced. For example, now, at moment of touching, there must be the reality which experiences hardness, as that is what is seen, and there is a reality which experiences it. Otherwise, it cannot be seen. To understand the difference between that which is seen or touched and the touching or the seeing. They appear clear now. So this is not vipassana jnana.
No, it's not. I know that. But I have tremendous amount of patience, kanti. Oh,
At moment of thinking, is there seeing now? Or only thinking appear?
it's type of thinking.
Only close your eyes or what?
I know that it's not wisdom, it's not jnana, but sort of
But it's clear thinking or seeing when they are now appearing seems like they are together.
it's a very soft awareness.
What is the object right now, seeing or thinking?
All objects do not appear as they should.
So it's not vipassana jnana.
No. I know that. I do not want to deceive myself.
And what about the 12 rounds of the Arya Satya, the Four Noble Truths?
Yeah.
See, we cannot get across anything with ignorance.
But we have to proceed. We have to
Understand.
Yeah.
So it's now the understanding, the first round of the Four Noble Truths.
Yes.
Not yet or yes.
Slow.
Truthful to the truth. The most important thing. Panya is so truthful. So it's not true, it's not real, it's not panya. It's not a function of panya. But panya is so true to the truth. this is only beginning to hear the word of truth of what is there now as it is.
I have no intention of deceiving myself. I know how weak my wisdom is, but I have to go. I have to proceed with lots and lots of kanti. That's all I can do.
It seems I have to proceed. It seems I have to do something. But the
No. It's not
first round, the Satyajnana is the firm understanding of each of the noble truths. So the firm understanding of what reality is now, seeing now, which is unsatisfactory, hearing now, whatever reality is now. And it is the understanding that at that moment develops. No thought of I can proceed or I should do anything, because nothing I can do. I cannot proceed. So it's a firm understanding, no I at all, just different khandhas, different realities arising and falling away, not in anyone's control, not anything that anyone can do to proceed to understand.
I think it's good that you acknowledge or appreciate that one has to be honest with oneself, or honest as to one's level of understanding or lack of understanding. That is part of what is meant by being truthful to the truth. But then if one is honest with oneself, not deceiving oneself, as you put it, part of that also involves not comparing with others. For example, not wishing that one's understanding was more developed than it is, accepting the present situation, level of understanding, and not being distracted, shall we say, because the understanding or the development of the path is the same for everyone, regardless of their present level of understanding, right? It's all about awareness and understanding of any reality now appearing. So it doesn't matter what the present level is, and there's no need to try and put it in a somewhere in a range of understanding. It just is what it is.
No, I'm not really comparing myself to you guys, but I very much appreciate what you've been doing, because to me, you are like bodhisattva. It's very, very full of virtues. And I can't help comparing you guys with myself. I do not have such virtues. It's really amazed me.
But then, Tadao, I could listen to you and have similar sort of feelings towards you as you do towards John, Sarah, and Kanatan, right? It depends on what's being said at the moment and if there's any appreciation.
Full of appreciation of what you've been doing. I can't help. I am full of appreciation.
If I were you, I would just appreciate the opportunities that there are in this life by virtue of deeds performed in the past and understanding accumulated in the past, there's an interest in the Dhamma in this lifetime, an opportunity to discuss it with other people who share that interest. So I think we're all fortunate in that respect, and just take it as that.
Yeah, it's true.
But of course, you expressing appreciation for what John, Sarah, Kanata, and Nina have done, that's also something to be, to be praised. It's also a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I have good examples.
And when
Exact-
it's kusala appreciation, there's no comparing, so no need to think of oneself. So just appreciating kusala, no need to think about, well, what about me or something else. Thanks to Dao. And I'm wondering, Alan and Azita have been waiting patiently from the beginning. Do either of you have anything you'd like to bring up today? Or Anne?
Hi, Sarah. There's a passage in the Middle End Sayings which I'm trying to understand. It's from the Lesser Discourse on Emptiness, the Kula Sunyata Sutta. It's number 121, and it's a long sutta, so I appreciate we probably can't discuss it here. But if I read out to your paragraph, and maybe you could try and explain it to me. So I'll just read it out now. Formerly, I, Ananda, as well as now, through abiding in the concept of emptiness, abide in the fullness thereof. As this palace of Megara's mother is empty of elephants, cows, horses, and mares, empty of gold, silver, empty of assemblages of men and women, and there is only this that is not emptiness, that is to say, the solitude grounded on the order of monks. Even so, Ananda, a monk not attending to the perception of village, not attending to the perception of human beings, attends to the solitude grounded in the perception of forest. His mind is satisfied with, pleased with, set on and freed in the perception of forest. He comprehends thus the disturbances there might be resulting from the perception of village do not exist here. The disturbances there might be resulting from the perception of human beings do not exist here. There is only this degree of disturbance, that is to say, solitude grounded on the perception of forest. He comprehends this perceiving is empty of the perception of village. He comprehends this perceiving is empty of the perception of human beings. And there is only this that is not emptiness, that is to say, solitude grounded on the perception of forest. He regards that which is not there as empty of it. So that paragraph or that structure is repeated throughout the sutta. But so yeah, I was wondering what the Buddha's trying to say there. It seems to me a bit like saying that actually when something is not there, it isn't there, it's gone. So what is experienced is sound, but actually we have a lot more in our minds than sound. You know, where there are people, there are cars, there are buses that last a long time, but actually at any moment of our life there is only one reality, and that reality, there is no thing or person or something in it. I mean, I'm just sort of guessing at that. So has anybody got any suggestions as to what that sutta means, or that paragraph? And I apologize that I'm a bit I'm going a bit deaf, so I can't If I say pardon a lot, it's because I'm going a bit deaf. Sorry about that.
Well, I think obviously it's referring to an attainment of some kind. And I think the question is firstly to know whether it's a mundane attainment or whether it's part of insight development.
What
Yeah.
was the name of the sutta again?
It's
Chula
called
Sunyata
the Kula Sunyata Sutta, Lesser Discourse on
Chula
Emptiness.
Sunyata Sutta.
Chula, lesser.
Chula Sunyata Sutta. It's from the Middle Length Sayings book 3 on my book, sort of halfway through.
So, Alan, insight or mundane attainment being described?
It goes on to the same kind of structure to describe insight attainment. So this first beginning bit will not be the attainment of insight, because later on it's doing the same thing. It kind of goes through all the jhanas, so that when somebody's attained the first jhana, they're not disturbed by anything else. There is only the disturbance of the first jhana, and then it goes on to talk about insight. So I guess this first bit is possibly about mundane attainment, or it occurred to me it might be an analogy.
Or different meanings of sunyata, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Yes, I've got no idea really what it means. So maybe maybe post on DSG about it, because it is quite a long sutta actually.
So
Too long.
you are, the rest of the sutta is clear, just this one passage?
No, the rest of the sutta isn't clear. It's a similar sort of structure really. So it's all sort of repeated, but at different levels, getting deeper and deeper, and finally ends up with Vipassana Jnana. So it goes to going through all the jhanas and ends up with Vipassana Jnana.
I think there are a number of suttas that explain for those who are developing or have developed jhana, how insight can be developed on the basis of the jhana attainments.
Yes, it's not. I don't think it's that. But it is kind of it is suggesting. Well, it is basically saying that the Vipassana is the highest concept of emptiness, basically. And I mean, we have discussed emptiness as being an aspect of not self, not something, haven't we? So reality is just a reality. There's nothing else there. So you could say it's empty of anything else, but also it's completely gone after it's arisen.
It's nothing at all. Nothing at all, because it's completely gone, empty of self and gone completely. So nothing there at all.
Yes, and I think that in our mundane life, we don't experience that at all. We do have this firmly rooted belief that we have arms and legs and there are chairs and tables. So we're not living in that concept of emptiness, nothing at all. It's completely gone from moment to moment. That's a massive change from our normal daily life, isn't it?
Seems that it has to be different from daily life, but actually that's how daily life is. But it's just that it's not understood, it's not known, not realized at all. So there is the experience, there is the seeing, the hearing, but not the knowing of what is there because of ignorance. It's covered up all the time by ignorance and attachment.
I suppose that perhaps it's another way of saying alone or that at the moment of insight, there's just the reality which is understood. There's no palaces, there's no elephants, there's no self, no person.
And this is
So
the
it is
true seclusion, the
true
true
seclusion,
alone.
yes. But it's empty of all of those other things, isn't it? Because day to day we're disturbed by the thoughts or the dreams, which actually about dreaming about something which is just completely gone, empty of anything there. I don't know. It's quite a tricky sutta to understand. I haven't got the commentary for it.
Jan would like to add any comment on the sutta?
What you think it's still there is gone. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And that's the meaning of sunyata.
Okay. Yeah. So it's
Jula sunyata or maha sunyata. Sunyata is sunyata.
so in our mind we take it for still being there, like my hand or my foot or the table, but actually the reality that
Not at all.
Yes, so it's gone. The reality is gone, and that's the meaning of emptiness, that it's completely disappeared.
It's another aspect of anatta, the truth of all realities. All dhammas are anatta.
Yes, yes. So another truth of only once in samsara. It arises once and then gone.
And can sunyata be directly experienced? Sunyata.
Yes, vipassana. It's a high level of understanding vipassana.
Uttaya piyayana.
What's that? Sorry, I didn't understand that.
Uttaya is rising, right?
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Arising and falling, Udaya
Yes.
and Vaya, Udaya Bhaya. Two words. Udaya arising and Bhaya falling.
And that's why, as we said at the beginning in the discussion with Tadao, that unless Vipassana Jnana has been developed, not just understanding the clear distinction between Nama and Rupa, but also the higher degree of understanding the rising and falling away of realities. And self, the idea of self, can never be eradicated, can never be abandoned. That's why it's not enough. There has to be higher and higher stages of insight to directly know the arising and falling away, that nothing is left at all, nothing is there.
Right. It's not just understanding Nama and Rupa, but the degree of understanding of Nama and Rupa. But without understanding Nama, the reality which experiences, there can't be any detachment from the idea of self, really, can there? It's always I.
And without understanding Nama, there can never be the understanding of Nama that is not permanent, the Nama which is arising and falling away. And only when there is the clear, firm understanding that there's nothing left, nothing permanent, can there be the eradication of the idea of self. So it has to develop from the very beginning, from the wise considering of what is Nama and what is Rupa, on and on.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure that must be the meaning of the sutta. Yeah. So thank you.
Just to have firm understanding of the truth. Otherwise, nothing can condition moment of understanding what is there now as it is. Because it's there, but who knows it's not anything or anyone at all. Hardness is hardness. That which experiencing it is our reality. arising and falling away, never to return, sunyata. Firm confidence of the truth will lead to the direct understanding of what is there, which is not this moment for some, and for some it can be a moment of direct understanding, depending on conditions. If there is still the idea of self, there can be a moment of trying to experience such and such unknowingly until panya is there, understanding that it's not panya, that is the self who tries.
Yes, yes. So wishing for the pasnayana is the idea of self is there. So it's not a matter of not wishing, but a matter of recognizing that the wishing is not the path, it's just another reality.
That's why before vipassana, there must be the understanding intellectually of the noble truth, the first round, the second round, until it's the third round. So now it's the understanding of the first round of the Four Noble Truths, what we are talking about, the impermanency of what is there now. Not
Yes.
to be forgotten, that it's not there anymore.
Can we say that the whole of the Buddha's teachings are really to explain the first sermon, the Four Noble Truths? Everything feeds into the Four Noble Truths. It is there. That is what has to be understood.
Yeah, and it's not the word. Even the first Noble Truth is this moment, which has been known before.
Yes. So it's not just repeating impermanence, but it's the realization of the impermanence, the direct understanding of the impermanence of the reality. Yes.
Just reveal the hidden truth from eons and eons ago. Who knows now it arises and falls away, whatever appears. Just very shortly. Only one reality, while there's now so many reality appear together as something. And this is the difference between ignorance and understanding from the very beginning. Ignorance cannot understand this truth of this moment. It's conditioned to arise, anatta, see? And it's not permanent, it's gone at moment of hearing or at the moment of hearing, thinking. The first noble truth, even we don't mention that it's so noble truth, Ariya Satya, but it begins to be known that it's so true from the very beginning, to have more confidence of the truth, because nothing is as true as the truth, noble truth.
Thank you very much. Thank you.